blah, 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 blah.
Criticising Kai Havertz before he's even in the club.
Let him speak.
Right, before he even puts on the shirt, you criticise him. All right? Are there question marks over the Kai Havertz signing? Yes. Has he hit the ground running in the way he would have wanted to? Yes.
No.
But at the end of the day,
No,
he hasn't. I'm right. But at the end of the day, he's an Arsenal player. He comes in, you put on that shirt and you support him. Yes, you can criticise him. He's a professional, of course. But you said last week you had an agenda against him. You were the guy who were criticising him before he even comes in. Give him a chance.
Right. Wait.
I'm excited about this, viewers. I want your opinions. I want like buttons. I want you to smash the like button, subscribe, turn on bell notifications as well. One of the first fan channel reviews of the new Premier League season. Lots to delve into in this, looking at Kai Havertz, Arsenal, City, Tottenham, and Manchester United. To stay with us for this show. But let's delve into what Saracen Guna's got to say here.
Wait. Let me say. 1 second. One second. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. And that is a fair point. What he's saying, isn't it? You can't after 3 games.
Let me just say this. We're in the third or fourth season of the project. No one has backed the project more than me. You know, King Arteta, I've been here, I've backed it when it hasn't happened. But this year, I want to win a trophy. We got so close last year and we bottled it, yeah? I want to win something. We're not going to win it with Kai Havertz. One of the biggest mistakes we made in recent history was when we sold Giroud and we got Lacazette in. Giroud went on to be the all-time French goal scorer. Our balance went. The balance is gone now. We have got a guy who runs around. We got a guy who runs around. And we could have got Jordan Ayew. Jordan Ayew does the same as Kai Havertz. He's unbalanced.
Big points being made there. Kai Havertz unbalances the Arsenal team. Is this panic? Or is he speaking facts? I want to ascertain. I want to gather your opinions on this. I believe Arsenal fans have got to stay a little more relaxed. I believe if you trust in Arteta, give him a little bit more time to cook. I don't think you shouldn't be allowed to criticize your team's performance or doubt a signing. That, for me, is a little bit too authoritarian. And the way that he was being pointed at there is it's crazy to me. It's like, Jesus Christ, firstly, it's football. Relax a little bit. But he's allowed to criticize. He's allowed to have an opinion. And where I think Saracen Guna deserves credit is that he has been a huge advocate of this young team, of the rebuild, of what Arteta has been doing. But suddenly he says one thing that's contrary, one thing that goes against the grain of the kind of Arteta supporters, and the backlash against him is crazy. But I want to get your opinion on this. Should Arsenal fans give Kai Havertz more time? Or do you think the 3 to 4 year body of work in the Premier League that he's given to the footballing world is enough to judge him on? Leave us your comments below. Here's Alan Pardew on TalkSPORT speaking about the same situation. Let's take a little listen.
Manage his ego. When you look at a player who's got talent, technical talent, you always assume you can get better out of him than the manager that he currently has. Right. Just trust me on that, okay. Right? So
I can tell the way you're looking at me.
Yeah. So he's looked at him and thought to himself, he isn't doing it at Chelsea. It's not really come off for him there. We can take him. I can take him to the next level. At this time, as we speak, 3 games in, it hasn't happened. Because I think I spoke to a couple of fans yesterday who had been at an Arsenal game. They thought he was poor yesterday. So, okay, he hasn't started well. And when you look at players who have started well in the Premier League this year, if you look at Maddison, you look at Rice, you look at Price at West Ham, Ward-Prowse, sorry. These are experienced guys who know the Premier League, sound citizens. And the one thing that worries me about Havertz is his personality. I don't see his personality on the pitch.
Look, it's a fair point. 3 games in, he hasn't really done much for Arsenal. Some good duels, found space well. He's been a cog in the machine, but he hasn't stood out. He hasn't delivered anything significant in the opening 3 games. But do you feel, maybe I'm feeling a little bit of this. Arsenal have started not with the same vigor and excitement as last season, but they have 7 points from 9 games. They are experimenting with some of the new players and some new formations. I think the judgment, not fully, but I think the judgment needs to start after the game against Man United at the weekend. Because if he experiments again and they lose to Man United, then I think some of these problems that have been noticed early on take on a different kind of, or my take on it will be different. My take on it will be different. Maybe these are not experiments. Maybe this is how Arsenal are going to start playing moving forward in their first real big game, big challenge of the season. But there's also this part of me that feels as though last year Arsenal proved a lot of people wrong. Even though they didn't win the league, they still overachieved based on what every pundit, every journalist, every football person predicted. And now they've started a little bit slowly this year. I do feel like there's an element from the pundits of we're going to jump on this and push it right down Arsenal's throat because of how good they were last year. Maybe there's a bit of overanalyzing so early on in the season. I've never seen 3 games forensically examined as much as we've seen with Arsenal in the last few days. But Gooners, listen, I want your opinions, rivals as well. Up next, Mark Goldbridge. Just take a little listen to what he says here.
Season, but I think Man City are going to walk this league because I think you drop points like that at home to Fulham. It wouldn't normally matter, but I think because you're up, who you're up against, Manchester City probably won't drop those sort of points. You started last season with 43 points from 48 games. You've got to be relentless to get near Man City. And I think that I just don't believe Arsenal can do that. And that is not in me in any way saying Arsenal are a bad side. I think they'll probably be the next best side in the Premier League. But I just think you've got to win virtually every game to put.
I understand where he's coming from. That you're kind of saying you have to win virtually every single game. But again, are we overstating that? I know they won yesterday, Man City, but they were only 5 minutes away from dropping points to Sheffield United themselves. They are not impervious to losing games. And even when you look at last season, Man City lost 5 games and drew 10. So it is, I think, again, we're overstating things. City are the favourites, but City failed to win 10 games last year. 10 games. I think they'll fail to win around 10 games again. So the notion that you have to win nearly every single football match to win the title, I just think we're overplaying it. Last season, they failed to win 10. The year before that, they failed to win 9. The season before that, if we go back even further than that, the season before that, Man City failed to win 11 games. The season before that, Man City failed to win 12 games. The season before that, 2019, that was really good. That was 6. So 2019, they only failed to win 6 games last year in that season. That was 2019. 2018, I reckon, would be pretty similar to the Centurion's year. 6 again. But you're now looking anywhere between 9 and 12 games they will drop points in consistently for the last 4 years. I don't see why that changes. City are still amazing. I just don't see them getting high 90, 100 points and only dropping points in 4, 5, 6 games. So I think Mark is wrong here, especially to assess things after 3 matches. I think we're going a little bit too soon. City are the favourites to win the Premier League. Don't get that twisted. But you can afford to drop points and still win the league because City do it. And they have done for the past few years, 110%.
Martinez. I mean, Harry Maguire's had all this stick for me. Bring him back in because the way Manchester United are defending now, if this was Maguire playing like Varane and Martinez, he'd be getting slaughtered.
Stop it. Get some help.
I'm really sorry, but we have conceded 4 goals in our last 2 games. It's not been on Martinez or Varane. The midfield has been non-existent. The fullbacks haven't been inverting and supporting Casemiro, and we've been run through and pulled pillar to post. Yes, Martinez scored an own goal, but that was because the shot come in and he's trying to clear it and he gets an unfortunate nick. It's not a defender's fault. Those things happen. The defense has been fine. However, it's the second time in a week now. Okay, let me rephrase that. We haven't been fine. Defense hasn't been amazing, but it's not really been Varane or Martinez that I've had a problem with at all. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's the second time now In the space of a week, the TalkSPORT have pushed this agenda. Maguire should be playing. Last week, Adrian Durham said that Ten Hag had ruined Maguire. Ruined him. Damaged his career. Now we're hearing he should be back in the team. He should be playing. The British media sometimes make me die. The way they defend Maguire, he must have nudes or evidence of misdoing against these people. He must have so much evidence of wrongdoing against these British pundits. He must have. I cannot for the life of me fathom why they defend him so much. They must have them up on a RICO case. Something's going on here. This stinks as an opinion. Maguire is the 4th to 5th choice centre-back at Manchester United. We want to sell him. There's talk today that he might be wanting to leave and he has to go. The way they defend him, though, is absolutely horrendous. I saw this clip. I couldn't not react to it. The revisionism is crazy, but I told you it would come. How do I know? I've been in this game too long. I've been doing this forever. Maguire should start again for Man United.
Suck your mum, suck your mum. Yeah, I said suck your mum.
About Maddison is going to be the signing of the summer.
Top player.
Now, look, I might be going a little bit earlier here, but I think he is the signing of the summer. You've got.
They're already doing it. He's played 3 games. Yes, he scored a goal. Very good goal. Got 2 assists in the first game. 3 games in. The Tottenham hype is crazy. And they do the same thing every year. They end the season. Enoch and Levy will never create a winning team. I'm never back in this side again. We're so mid. We're so average. They win a couple of games. We're peak Barcelona. It's honestly, it's a madness. It's a genuine, bona fide madness. Madness. Now, before Spurs fans get their knickers in a twist and call for a boycott on the terrace again, I think Maddison started great. I think he's a brilliant signing. Could end up being one of the best signings of the season. Could be the best summer signing. But Doku hasn't kicked a ball for Man City yet. Højlund hasn't made his debut yet. Certain players need time to settle. Caicedos and Lavias. Don't sleep on how good Szoboszlai has been at Liverpool thus far. Ward-Prowse has been brilliant in his opening 2 games for West Ham. It really has. And I'm not saying it can't be Maddison. But 3 games in. I said this in pre-season. Players are being written off after pre-season games. People were being called flops after 1 performance. It used to take 2 years to become a flop. Then a season. Now it's 1 game. Equally, it would take at least until December for people to start talking about signings of the season. Now we're doing it after 2, 3, 4 games. This premature ejaculation has got to stop. It's got to stop.
How dare you?
Some people hit the like button, subscribe to the Football Terrace as well. Plenty more fan channel reviews to come over the course of the campaign, no doubt about it. Until next time, you take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.